Tell me, how would you work with folks who, say, non-dominant culture that are really angry, understandably, and really angry and finding it difficult? Maybe that anger is getting in the way to making connections with folks in the dominant culture.
I'll give another example. Well, first of all, anger is nothing wrong with anger as long as it's constructive, because you can self-destruct from anger.
Yeah.
And also there are different levels of it and what have you. Maybe this will speak to your point. When I was the diversity officer at a hospital, it was difficult for me because a lot of the people in the community, they wanted someone in the system to be representative, but they didn't understand how change goes slow through institutions.
Right.
Change is slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they wanted it both ways. We want you there, but you're not working fast enough. You're part of the establishment. You need people working on inside and outside to create social change. So a couple of times there were certain individuals of color who were having problems on the job, and it was a very racist environment. And they told me some of the things they were going through, and I said, okay, I can relate to that. And so, but what happened would be, I would immediately take their side.
Mm-hmm.
Because we look alike, I work here, I know what you're going through. But what I found out was sometimes, if I had taken the time to go a little deeper, these individuals weren't coming to work on time. When they got there, they weren't doing their job. And so what happened was, I was getting a bigger picture, and there had to be some accountability. And they were angry. And so what I started to do is, say to them, what would it look like if this wasn't a racist institution? What would be fair to you in this situation? A lot of them hadn't thought that far.
Right.
And I'm saying where there's no vision, that people perish. How would you know if you were being treated fairly? What would that look like?
Uh-huh.
That way, now I got you thinking too.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now you're in the
Processing.
game. Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times they would say, well, I never really thought about that. Well, you got to know what you want. You've got to know what you want. And everybody wants something. You're just kidding yourself if you say no.
Right.
So that way now we can be co-creators of what changes do you want in your department? How would you know you were being treated fairly?
Uh-huh.
What would that look like? Would it look like a promotion? Would it look like people just saying a good evaluation? Would it look like people just every now and then saying, hey, good job? What would that look like? As opposed to just saying, well, they're racist here and they're not treating me fair. Because all that's true.
Sure.
But now you're reactive. And to be proactive, what can we create?
So how can you co-create that?
Yeah. Because that means you take responsibility as well.
Sure, and then once the vision's in place, then you can start looking at incremental steps that could be taken, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Or okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because everybody wants something from somebody.
And we all want to be treated fairly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you're clear on what you want, then you can articulate it.
Yeah.
Then you can move on. I ask people. Sometimes if they have an issue. I'm always listening.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll say, do you want me to listen? Or do you want you want my input? What do you want?
Nice.
What do you want? Do you need just a listening ear right now? Because I can be a non-anxious presence. Do you want me, because I can't solve your problem. Maybe do you want suggestions? Now it's clear. It's getting clear.
Right.
Some people say, I don't know what I want. Okay, well, that's something to look at. So I'll just listen.
Yeah. Until something becomes
Something
a little
again
more clear.
But yeah, but what do you want?
Right. Right.
Think about what you want.
This is making sense of something I heard recently, that our words are so important about where we want to go. The words that we use every day really show us, if we could kind of tape record it, where we want to go. And it sounded to me like helping people find the vision of what you want, what would look like fairness, what would look like opportunity and thriving.
How can I help that?
Yeah.
Assist you in that.
How can I work together?
Yeah, because words are really important.
Yeah.
I heard a therapist talk about he was a paperboy as a kid, so he never really had a pet until later on in life. And when his friends pet dog had died. He was like, well, okay, your dog died. What are you crying about? It's your dog. But not until he had the experience of having a pet and having that pet die, he couldn't share in that experience because he hadn't been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say I'm grieving over something, that I need to know, okay, what does that mean? Because if maybe I haven't been there.
Right.
You know, I can't fit that in my experience. And it makes you communicate. People say it may be too much work. No. It's a different way of communicating. You have to learn something different. You can't use the old tools because the world has changed.
Yeah. And this is something that you've mentioned about the fluidity. I'm trying to look for the word here. The fluidity of privilege.
Oh, yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
No, we talk about white privilege, and we definitely know that that has happened. The country was founded by white, heterosexual, white male Christian men, for the most part. And so there's privilege there. There's privilege in being a white male, Christian male, especially if you're heterosexual. All those things. But I have privileges over my wife, for instance, because I'm a male.
Right.
Okay? I'm a heterosexual male, and it's still a man's world, if you will, for the most part. And there's times when she has privileges over me at being a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's not going to be in all cases, but privilege is full. And what keeps it healthy is when we realize that there's many different ways. I have privileges over gay folk in this country because I'm straight.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to talk about privilege, we can say, okay, we're going to focus on white privilege, fine. But I need to know that there are other privileges in the room.
Gotcha.
That way I don't feel like I'm invisible here.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That everybody feels seen. And
We may only be talking about heterosexual privileges.
Right.
But I know that they're racial privileges. I know that they're gender. I just want you to know that this workshop, hypothetically, so that way you feel heard. You know that I know you're in the picture. You are significant.
Yeah.
You matter.
Nice. And that helps cut back on the backlash that you might get.
Yeah, because people say, I'm not being,
I'm not hearing you because you're not acknowledging
that I'm not in the room.
The common human suffering or what have you.
And that's always the key. What can we get to what's human?
Right.